All right, bet. So this is going to be the second. All right, so this is going to be the second trade recap that I posted. This was yesterday. Should have done this yesterday, but I don't know what I was doing. Too distracted with school. But anyways, let me get on a higher time frame. So off what was going on here. All right, so coming into the day, I obviously saw that price was at all-time highs. So I wasn't really looking to try and short here. Um, Obviously, I did take a short, but um, anyways, so on the hourly, there wasn't really much to go off of. We kind of had a lot of these gaps here, so I wasn't really expecting to find a gap, or I wasn't really looking at a specific gap here to hold. I was just kind of waiting and watching price action. And so, anyways, I tried to mark out London highs and lows, which these were already all swept. So really all I had to really go off of was um, this 8:30 news that we had here on this candle. So as you can see, price after 8:30 came out pushed above the high. So really this was my only real draw on liquidity for the day. I didn't really have much else to trade. And I was originally looking on NQ because NQ is not at all-time highs, as you can see. So I was really expecting, honestly, us to be bullish, um, since there wasn't really a lot on the downside to go off of. But at market open, which was right here, at market open, we kind of saw a big sell-off, and I was thinking, okay, we have this gap here to the left, and I was expecting this to hold and then us flip to the upside, but as you can see, we inverted this gap, which didn't really mean a lot to me because we did have this gap below, but then we inversed this gap right here. Whoops. So this was honestly, I think this really should have tricked me up, honestly. And I was kind of looking more towards longs at this point, but ES was already climbing to new highs. So I was just kind of patient. I really didn't know what to expect. I kind of hate trading at all-time highs. I feel like it's very confusing. But anyways, on the 15 minute, we were holding this gap on NQ pretty strong and holding that 5 minute gap. So I was honestly looking for longs at this point in time, but I didn't really get an entry. So I mean, I'm not going to force something just based on what I think is happening. So I saw that price inversed this gap here. And so I was kind of expecting price to just kind of chop until it kind of made up its mind. And I didn't take that trade, by the way. That shouldn't be on the screen. But anyways, I always also I never trade before 9:45. So even though this filled in this gap right here and it was bullish, it was before my 9:45. So honestly, I think this is what saved me from going long, just sticking to that rule of never trading before the macro. And also on ES, I noticed that we swept out New York AM Open at about 9:45. So I saw we created a bearish SMT there. Um, and also from what I've noticed is something I've tried to implement more into my trading really is just really focusing on the draw and liquidity and price action and not really worrying about all these like candlesticks that are closing like inversing fair value gaps or filling in different confluences until I notice on like the 5 minute that it's really price action's really made up its mind on where it wants to go fully. And so anyways, I saw this once this SMT got put in, it was about 950, and I noticed that this gap right here was starting to get kind of disrespected. We tapped into it once, came back, revisited it, and also on the 15 minute, we had inversed this gap at about that same time of 9:50, 9:45-ish. So I was instantly kind of expecting to go lower, but I didn't want to rush into anything because, right, like I said, trading all-time highs, it's very, in my opinion, very difficult. It's not very clear cut. So, anyways, once we inverse this gap, I was instantly kind of looking for shorts here, which looking back on it, I should have taken this trade right here. Um, and I shouldn't have really waited. I should have honestly just shorted this right here, stops at that high, and targeted the data lows. But that's not what I did. I don't really know why. I think I was kind of just flopping between ES and NQ, and at this point, I don't think there was really a good trade on NQ. So I hopped over to ES, saw we filled in this fair value gap here after respecting this one, and we took out this low. So I mean, realistically, I don't know if this was the best trade, but like I said before, I'm really trying to focus on just drawing liquidity, main priority. Everything else after that is kind of a little bit of a gray area, but if you can get your drawdown, I feel like you're probably sitting pretty solid. So, anyways, once I saw this gap finally get filled, we took out this. There wasn't really anything else for price action to kind of stop or reverse off of because we have this 5 minute gap which has already been tested, so I wasn't really focusing on that to be a huge factor of holding price up. I don't believe on the 15 minute. Yeah, on the 15 minute we were already kind of dumping down here past the fair value gap, and we also on the 15 minute we already closed inverse that other gap, so I was really looking bearish at this point. And yeah, I took the trade after this fair value gap got filled. My price was, or my stop loss was right here at the kind of the body of this right above the fair value gap. And what I've noticed about my trading here recently is I keep putting my stop losses way too high. It's like I'm too scared of price coming up because I mean, I keep wanting to place my stops so high. I don't really know why. Like, price is gonna go up and tag this. It's most likely not gonna hold. It's gonna reverse off this liquidity and stop me out and reverse the other way. So then I'm just wrong. But anyways, so price filled here, got in at 651825. Was in drawdown for a little bit. But essentially once I saw this low right here get closed under, Um, when I saw kind of some big movements out of it, I moved my stop to break even, which I think was probably pretty good. Um, and then once price made another low and closed under it, I was completely confident in this trade going and hitting my TP. But yeah, I think kind of entered a little late. Could have definitely gotten more out of this trade. But yeah, just gotta start trusting my draws more of liquidity. That's really the main thing. And then second thing. Honestly, I think that's really it because I think entering is way easier if you're confident where you know where price is going to go rather than the reverse, like trying to find a good entry and hoping it goes that way. But yeah, I think that's really the main thing I just need to work on is kind of just trusting my draw and liquidity. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And kind of so what. So, but yeah, and then also just getting better overall reading price action probably be pretty helpful. Just kind of understanding like, okay, we closed under this. We most likely are going to go lower now. This 5 minute gap right here is what I'm talking about. And just kind of understanding that since we invalidated this, we're most likely taking out data lows. and we're not wanting to go higher for the day. But yeah, I mean that's really it. Just kind of focus on those things, keep locking in, keep growing. Hopefully I pass my first account. I mean, that would be super cool. And then kind of go from there. But yeah, this was September 5th trade recap. I'm filming this the next day. But all right, yeah, just keep going.